What's up, YouTube? Demi here with another build guide, also Twitch. This is a Scorching Ray Trickster using relatively budget gear. I mean, I'm wearing a tabula and a bunch of rares, so no unique flask. You can wear a belly if you want, it gives you a lot more life, but I have a tabula, so we're gonna go with that. We're running a quick T14 and we talk about the build. The new Trickster is actually really strong for this type of build. This is Mind Over Matter, Scorching Ray. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, we have a lot of defensive stats. We're pretty tanky. We have a ridiculous amount of life recovery. And like, this character is wearing all the gear that I had from last league. So it's not like min-maxed by any means, but it's a very cheap budget starter. I leveled it up as Scorching Ray. And with the new Trickster, it's just gotten even better. Patient Reaper is pretty broken. Let me just like stand here. Look at this recovery. If you kill something, it just like, you can't die. It's so stupid. I'm not even flasking. You just kill one thing, get that recovery going, and you're good, right? It's pretty nice, pretty tanky little build. Wearing some pretty budget gear. Mind Over Matter is amazing for taking less damage. For those that don't know, it transfers damage that you take before your life damage is actually, before you take damage on your life, you take the damage on your mana instead. So it's like it's like a little bit of an extra life pool of sorts. There's a lot of items that can multiply that life pool as well, so you have more of the damage that you take transferred into your Mind Over Matter. It also works with damage over time now, which is really good. But yeah, it's not like a speed clear by any means, but it's a safe, reliable build. Just get to do spins on people. Drop your Orb Storms, curse them with LE Weakness, LE Equilibrium, and then burn them down. And I am wearing a tabula right now, so I don't need to have a chest on. Still have 6k plus life with decent life resist gear in every other slot. Holy shit. My Scorching Ray has 400 DPS. Is that right? Is it not? Wait, okay. I was like, how does it calculate that? I have no idea. Burn, baby, burn. I think I'm supposed to press the valve here, right? Yeah. My bad, I forgot I had to press the valve. Testament to me being bad, I don't even know how to fight this boss. It's okay though, the build will keep me alive. There you go. So, I don't know, let me see if I can get an actual damage tooltip so you can see what to aim for. With full charges and everything else. Okay, I think we got everything. So it's like 59k per second per stack, right? You can get up to 8 stacks or something like that, so it's pretty good. Alright, so, skill tree stuff. We're Trickster. Why are we Trickster? Because Patient Reaper is ridiculous. You get increased damage over time, you recover a bunch of stuff on kill, you have 70% increased recovery rate of life, mana, and ES if you've killed an enemy affected by dot recently. Since we use dot, everything is that. Recently is the last 4 seconds, so it lasts 4 seconds. 70% increased recovery means 1.7 times whatever your current regen is, plus leech, plus everything else. It multiplies all of that by 1.7. It's kind of broken. Like, this gives me, well, I don't even know, that times 1.7, like, it's gross. And then after that, they also gave us Prolonged Pain, gives you more damage over time, the skill effect duration, so your stacks are easier to get up to 8. You also get some reduced dot taking, which is great against bleed, poison, and other burning stuff. You have Weave the Arcane, so your movement skills are free. You get attack and cast speed if you've used a movement skill recently, which allows you to shield charge faster, but also apply stacks faster with your Scorching Ray. And then you get reduced damage taken after you spend mana, chance to recover max mana whenever you use a skill, so you'll just like chunk yourself back up to full mana occasionally, which is great. Then we take Swift Killer. This gives us maximum power and frenzy charge. Power and frenzy charge on kill, and then we get damage per frenzy, damage per power charge. So I have 4 and 4, I believe, which translates to about 40% damage, plus all of the more damage that you get from charges themselves. So you get, where is it? More modifier per frenzy, more cast speed, more attack speed, crit strike chance per power charge, which helps you maintain your LE overload with Orb Storm, stuff like that. But the skill tree is pretty basic. You just grab a bunch of LE damage, bunch of LE damage, spell damage, and then you take a bunch of life nodes, attack speed, damage over time. I leveled this character with Scorching Ray, so if you just like follow across the tree, you'll be fine. Bunch of dot here, bunch of life nodes, some fire damage. LE Overload is one of our main keystones here. Gives you 40% more LE damage if you crit in the past 8 seconds. When you drop Orb of Storms, it's got a pretty high chance to crit, especially with power charges. So it'll just crit and you'll have 40% more damage for the next 8 seconds. It's pretty good. Other keystones, we have Mind Over Matter. Again, damage taken from mana before life, which is why I have so much mana that's not reserved. There's really nothing you can reserve for Scorching Ray that would give you damage either. So you just have no mana to use anyway. I just have Clarity. So that gives us a bunch of extra open mana. We have some more mana behind this. And this is like 50% max mana. It's disgusting. Some life recovery stuff. Jewel Sockets will go over what scales you after this. And then we take LE Equilibrium as our other keystone. Enemies that you hit with LE damage get plus 25 resistance to those elements and minus 50 to the other ones, right? So since Scorching Ray is a degen, it does not hit, it doesn't give fire damage, but every time you hit with like your shield charge, that little bit of lightning damage, or your Orb of Storms lightning damage, it gives them negative 50 fire res, so you get to deal more damage there. And then Skill Effect Duration, which means that your stacks from Scorching Ray last longer. Debuff lasts 2.57 seconds. Helps you keep the stacks on the enemy, and you can like pass over an enemy for once and then it'll burn for the next 2.5 seconds, which is cool. The entire Silent Life Wheel, a bunch of the Templar life nodes, some mana stuff here, life regen, LE damage, spell damage, cast speed, more life, another Jewel Socket, and then fire damage here for your Scorching Ray, burning damage for your Scorching Ray, and life nodes. Jewels, you have a lot of options for jewels. Things that scale Scorching Ray are like damage, fire damage, burning damage, spell damage while holding a shield. Life will help you stay alive, obviously. Life and mana are both good on jewels. All of my jewels, I think, are dual damage life jewels. Yeah. And then your Abyssal Socket in your belt. You can get life and damage over time while holding a shield. It's perfect. If you can get Onslaught if you've killed recently, that'd be cool. But this is a 2-prop. It's fine. What else is there? Pantheons. I have Cannot Be Stunned if you've been stunned or blocked a stunning hit recently, because I get hit a lot since I'm just standing still anyways. This helps a lot with that. If you want to experiment with Arakali's Arachnoxia increased recovery rate, that's another more multiplier if you stopped taking dot recently. If you want to enable that, what you do is you take a cast when damage taken setup and you link Blood Rage and then Immortal Call in that order. So like cast when damage taken, Blood Rage, Immortal Call. And make sure it's in that order. Make sure Blood Rage triggers before the Immortal Call goes off. That way you just basically always have this. Every time your Immortal Call procs, you'll get that. Since you stop taking physical dot from the Blood Rage, it'll proc the Arakali stuff. It's kind of good. I don't have the Pantheon for it yet, so I didn't do it. And then I'm using Growthcool for the 5% Fizz mitigation for all the hits I take recently. As for the gear, it's pretty basic. I'm wearing a Tabula. Links for Scorching Ray. We have... Actually, I'll do all the gear first. Tabula, or Belly of the Beast, or a rare chest with a bunch of life on it and resistances. Whatever you need, right? I'm just wearing a Tabula because it's cheap. Weapon, get as much fire spell damage as you can, and dot, and like scepters are perfect for that. They get LE damage, they get spell damage, they get fire damage, they get dot. You can also use Doriani's Catalyst as a cheap way to get that. It's about perfectly rolled Doriani's Catalyst will give you 132% damage for your Scorching Ray, right? And some attack and cast speed and crit. This one gives me, what is that? 99 plus 21 is, oh god, 120 something plus 120. It's like this is more than a perfect Doriani's, I think. Or very close to a perfect Doriani's, and I think I paid like 3C, 5C for this or something. Helmet, life resistances. Enchantment wise, you're going to want Scorching Ray damage. I think I self-found this one. Shield, go for life resistances priority, and then try to get spell damage, fire damage if you can. Amulet, same thing. Life resists, mana's great, stats if you need them. Fire damage if you can get it, spell damage if you can get it, sure. Rings, same things. Life resists, mana if you can get it. Whatever else stats you need. If you can get a little bit of fire damage on it, great. But these are pretty basic, just life resist rings. Life, mana, resist. Gloves are the same, life resist. Enchantment, probably Decree of Reflection is fine. It's the one that like spawns a clone of you whenever you take a hit and runs around, hits things. It also gets 300% more damage, which I find hilarious. And then boots, movement speed, life resist. Enchantment wise, go for the regen if you've been hit recently, so it just multiplies all your other regen stuff, which is really cool. Stygian Vise, same thing, your belt slot, life resist. As for your flasks, go for recovery rate flasks, so if you can get Catalyzed Eternals, that's perfect. Because of how it's a recovery, like it's not instant, So if you are using this flask with your increased recovery rate stuff from Trickster, it'll just multiply how fast this heals you, which is ridiculous. Same with your mana recovery here. So I have a freeze flask, a bleed flask, another bleed flask, a shock flask, and a freeze flask. Got some overlap here. You're probably going to want a ignite flask and a curse flask among yours. No unique flasks. You can use a, if you go dual curse, you can use a Witchfire Brew, but I didn't. But I'm using a Stibnite for the blind, so enemies have a harder time hitting me. I'm also using a Basalt Flask so that they have Fizz mitigation, and then Consecrated Ground gives us life regen along with 40% increased damage. It's a pretty basic character though. Difference between Decree and Word. The higher it goes, Commandment is the highest. It just gives the minion more HP and more damage. But they all do the same exact thing. Who just redeemed their redemption? Shenron. There you go. But yeah, I think that's the character. It's pretty simple. Very simple. I need to go over links. That would probably help. Scorching Ray. Control Destruction, Efficacy, Ellie Focus, Swift Affliction, and Burning Damage. These are literally just all more damage. More damage, more damage, more damage, and guess what? More damage. Great. Other links, we have Enduring Cry for Endurance Charge Generation, along with some Life Regen Spike. Castle Damage Taken Vortex. This is a really low level one, so it spams all the time. Vortex leaves Chilled Ground, which slows the enemies so they attack and cast slower. It also hits with cold, so you get your Ellie Equilibrium buff. I have a Portal Gem, I have a Clarity. This is our only aura, so you just have a high level Clarity for mana regen, and it doesn't take any real mana to reserve. I have a Flame Dash to get up and down ledges if I need it. I'm using a Shield Charge Fortify faster attack setup with Culling Strike, so it gets even more attack and cast speed. We got our Orb of Storms linked to Curse on Hit, Ellie Weak, and Flammability. So we can go, actually I think I'm supposed to be dual curse on the tree, maybe that's why I forgot. You should probably go dual curse. I actually have them in my link, so I didn't take it on the tree, my bad. Then we have our Castle Damage Taken, Immortal Call, Increased Duration, Stone Golem setup. Stone Golem gives us even more life regen on top of everything else. And then Immortal Call gives us immunity to Fizz damage for a couple seconds, especially with Endurance Charges. You'll have like a 4 or 5 second one, maybe even longer with your skill effect duration. But yeah, I will conclude the pace spin for this below the video as always. I do need to fix my skill tree though, so I have these 4 points somewhere. I think it was these 4, I don't know if these 4 are required. They're just fire damage, but we'll just do that. Fixed, my bad. There, now we're dual curse. But yeah, the curses that help us, we get Ellie Weakness, gives them negative fire res. Flammability gives them negative fire to res. Despair makes them take more damage over time from the Witchfire Brew. All of those help. But yeah, this character's pretty good. I think I took it up to T15 maps with no issues. I think I did a Phoenix with it as well last league, before they buffed Trickster. You can also go for a Watcher's Eye with mana recovery while affected by Clarity if you want to try to fit Vitality into the build with a Vitality Watcher's Eye as well. You could get even more life recovery, but very basic character. I like it a lot. It's a good league starter and it'll scale incredibly well into endgame with a little bit of investment, so do whatever you want with it. I hope you liked this video. Am I going to show a little gameplay? I did at the beginning.